All right, hello everyone. Welcome to episode 29 of Talking Business with Ritz. This is Ritzo Loreto Rectra, founder and CEO of Mighty Shell Virtual Solutions. I am a content creator and digital process automation specialist. I focus more on content creation, social media management, and automation. I am a system consultant by trade and I've been in the IT industry for more than 20 years. Optimizing your process and automating your workflow is what drives me because then I can help you save time and money in the long run so you can free up more brain power to be used to build up and scale up your business. All right, moving on. If you are watching with us now, please do comment hashtag live, or if you are catching us up on replay, do comment hashtag replay. And do type in your questions so we can answer them. So let's start the show. All right, I'm back again. Let me just remove this so I won't accidentally click it again. All right, so the main purpose of this show is to give back to the community of online entrepreneurs. You will get a small win or takeaway from the value bombs that we will be sharing with you once a week. So I keep on repeating that this show is to get to know the human behind the title before the offer. To be successful in business, we need to find people who have skills and talents that we lack so that we can learn from them and move our business forward. Does that make sense? Yeah? Okay. So this episode today is very close to my heart because I had a not so nice experience about why I cannot stop eating when I am stressed. I did not gain weight at an alarming rate, but I did become unhealthy until I lost my gallbladder in 2015. That's when life started becoming boring for me because I love eating. All right. I love to eat good tasting food, especially when I am stressed and my digestive system does not agree anymore. That went on for a year or two until my body got used to eating healthy food. So, in today's live expert interview, we will talk about why we can't stop eating. So, she will help us recognize the signs that we can't stop eating and the three S's to manage this behavior. My guest is a dietitian, is a registered licensed dietitian, a food freedom coach, and an image consultant. She's the owner and CEO of DLM Creations LLC. Her goal is to reach out to 1 million women to help them heal their stress eating cycles using a non-diet approach and still control their weight. Interesting. And love the food they enjoy eating. So, in the spirit of giving and sharing, stay tuned until the end of the show, and we will be giving a free guide on how to stop cravings. The seven secrets revealed to control your weight. Okay, are you excited to have this free guide? Fantastic. All right. I'm excited to get on with the show. By the way, get your questions ready and type them in the comment. All right. Without much ado, here's our special guest, Coach Diane B. Morris. I'm going to be adding her right now. Hi,
There you
Coach
are.
Diane.
Hi.
Hi,
How
hi
are
there.
you? Hi, everyone that's streaming in.
Right. So, thank you very much, Coach Diane, for agreeing to have this live expert interview with me in episode 29 of Talking Business with Ritz.
My pleasure.
All right. So, let's continue. All right. As mentioned in the beginning of this show, right? We want our audience to get to know the human behind the title before the offer. So, for the benefit of our audience, we want to know who Coach Diane B. Morris really is. So, first off, where are you located right now?
My husband and I have been living in a suburb south of Atlanta, Fayetteville,
Mm-hmm.
for the past 14 years. And this is where I started my private nutritional consulting business.
Oh, all right. I have another segue question. What is special about the place you grew up, if you don't mind me asking? Where did you grow up?
Where did I grow up?
Yep.
Okay. So I grew up in a small town, Iowa. This is Des Moines.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to backtrack just a little because I met my husband when I was in high school because he transferred there from Chicago.
Oh.
So in our married life, we lived in 7 different states due to his um, job as sales. So in Iowa, in Des Moines, I never moved anywhere. It was the same, only lived in 2 houses and middle child. And I had a great childhood, lots of friends. We did a lot of things. We went to the park, amusement parks. And somehow, when I entered another school because we moved, it was 2nd grade. And at that time, I just don't know why and what happened, but I started being an introvert, didn't fit in with the friends. Everybody
Mm-hmm.
had their close friends. And when you're in that grade, you know, you don't want to open up to new people.
Right.
So, yeah, so throughout there, I started being shy and not sharing my
Oh.
emotions. So that's
All
the
right.
part of my story.
All right. We're gonna go over that again later in the origin story when I ask that one.
Sure.
So yeah. All right. Now next question would be, how do you relax after a hard day of work?
Very, very good question. Because I used to go to the refrigerator and I went to the pantry and I hid food in my car.
Wow.
And yes, I was a binge eater, an emotional eater, and if I
Mm-hmm.
didn't feel comfortable or fit in to a situation at work, um, I just went home, and that was how I released my emotions. So now, after many, many, many years of that journey, I have learned to pause and relax and have some plans when I come home. So I'm coping in a different mechanism than going to that refrigerator and eating everything in sight.
All right. That's good to know. I was, what am I doing last time? I have this one pint of ice cream that I go to
Okay.
when I'm stressed for at work doing work. So I just
Yes.
and then go straight to work. That's
Yes.
what I do. All
Yeah,
right.
it's a trigger, that's for sure.
Yeah. All right. We'll talk about that more later. So, Coach
Okay.
Diane, aside from being a registered licensed dietitian, we want to know you more. So, you are the CEO and owner of DLM and DLM Creations LLC. How
Yes.
long have you been in business?
I have been in business, probably started in 2011.
Mm-hmm.
And my nutrition business has evolved based on what women and their struggles are at a current moment or have been keeping them from being their best self.
Okay. How did it evolve? I mean, what was it earlier than what it is now?
Oh, okay. Well, what it is now, and since the pandemic, and so many gifts I've got from being alone and a pandemic. So some people say the pandemic was horrible, and it is horrible.
Mm-hmm.
I got COVID myself, and many of my family members did. Yet it was a time to reflect and be with myself.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the first time that my husband and I, after 48 years, were able to communicate because he was always in sales.
Right. So pandemic really is good.
Yeah,
It
for
did it did something good. Yeah.
yeah, it was a really rocky road and lots of emotions, but we worked it out, thank goodness. And so with that pandemic, like I said, what am I going to do? There's so many women and men and families that are going through so many emotions. And the easiest and fastest way to solve those is to go into that fridge, pantry, or freezer, either to bake things or to eat things or solve that those unknown emotions, or maybe those emotions that are popping up from childhood that you thought
Mm-hmm.
that you had solved. So that's when I did a pivot point, as they say. And in 2020, I
Mm-hmm.
rearranged a virtual program, and it's Food Freedom for Life Blueprint. And
Oh.
mhm, so that's where my business is at this point, and I feel very comfortable. I feel like I have the expertise because I've been a junk food junkie that's been hiding their emotions. And so I have firsthand experience. So that's where my business is now.
All right. So that's how it began since 2011 until it started at 2020 again as a virtual version, which is called Food Freedom for Life Blueprint.
Blueprint,
All right.
yes.
Wow. So that's a very inspiring, backstory you got there. All right. So
Thank you.
let's talk business. So Coach Dan
Okay.
is here. Yeah. So Coach Dan is here to share with us why we can't stop eating and what is making us do such things. All right. So let's talk about the first topic. How do we recognize the signs that we might be a stress eater? So, Coach
Okay.
Dan, could you?
hmm we are always or usually grabbing something on occasion
Mm-hmm.
to maybe solve an important thing that is going on in your life. And we'll get a little bit that emotional eating can be beneficial. Yet, if you find that you are reaching for food, that it's a mindless eating, you don't even remember what you ate or why, and then looked at the end of the bag, the bottom of the bag, and say, how did I eat this bag of potato chips when I didn't really taste it or know that I did that?
Yep.
Um, so we have those emotions. And when it becomes more than what researchers say, it's about 3 to 4 times a week is when you're in this type of cycle. And that's the time where you may want to seek professional help, whether it's a therapist, a nutritionist, or your physician. And unfortunately, they don't always get to the root of why you're doing that. And that's where my business is a little, excuse me, than others, because we look at the why and not the what and the how.
All right. So that brings us to the next topic, which is how do we then recognize the reason why we turn towards food to relieve our stress?
Okay. And let me give a little metaphor. When it's the holiday time and you want to put lights on your tree or lights outside, and you go in your basement or wherever they are, and you bring out this bundle of lights.
Yeah.
Okay. And they're all tangled together, and then you pull one out and it causes another one to be tangled, So, and you can untangle this very quickly sometimes, and it might take you hours or days to untangle that, depending on who tangled it up in the first place. You want to have 20 minutes to get everything down, kind of thing. And I'm relating this because that's your brain.
Uh-huh.
Your brain has wires and circuits.
Mm-hmm.
And when they get tangled up in your head,
Mm-hmm.
that's when you can develop either an addiction or to food, alcohol, drugs, cigarettes. And it is a place in your head where you have 5 drawers from your head, which is your logical front brain,
Mm-hmm.
down to where the bottom of your brain is, your head, before it goes into your spine and neck. And a lot of people say it's the limbic. Maybe you've heard that term. So they have 5 drawers. And
Mm-hmm.
the closer you get to that fourth or third, fourth, and fifth drawer,
Mm-hmm.
that's when stress comes. And if you've had some bad experiences and you've leaned to food or you don't know how to solve it, that's where the wires stay tangled, and those memories will keep you from going back to that same memory.
All right.
Does that make
That's
sense?
interesting. That's
Yes.
interesting.
Yes.
So in summary, in the essence, that meaning stress or old memories that makes us stressed, right? That makes us tend to lean on food or some other stuff like alcohol and all that
Yes.
to relieve this kind of stress or to forget this kind of memory, that the feeling
Mhm.
of that memory. Is that what it means?
Exactly. Exactly. So
Ah.
you've got lots of memories and lots of wires, and it happens a lot. Like if you've just had a quick memory, then the brain
Mm-hmm.
doesn't register that. But when it keeps repeating and repeating and repeating, especially when you nowadays that we are so stressed, the stress adds the emotions that are probably negative, and it keeps adding and adding and adding and adding. And what the goal is to find that why in
Mm-hmm.
the second and the third and the fourth and the fifth drawer. And the first and the second, we work to find that resilience and joy. And when you find resilience and joy, food is not the main driver of your existence.
So it's resilience and
Joy,
joy.
yes. And when you
All right.
say resilience and joy, what do you feel?
Happy.
Happy, happier.
Right.
Yes, yes, it puts a
Happier.
smile
Yeah.
on your face. And so what we wanna do is rewire our head, our brain, our mind to stay in that resilience and drawer and joy areas, and that's what we can do, and we can train them. Dietitians are now being certified in what's
Mm-hmm.
called emotional brain training, and
Okay.
we can help women untangle the roots of the weight gain, the guilt, the remorse, and their poor body image without dieting, because more and more we're going to look down here to see how we can raise that. And with practice and going to an EBT dietitian, you can do this in 3 minutes.
Hmm. Really? That fast?
Yes,
To be
yes.
able to identify what's causing the stress eating.
That's a very good question. And more research, and I'm not quite certified yet in that training as a provider, yet I'm learning that if you have those childhood emotions, where those wires got tangled or the
Yeah.
Christmas lights got tangled in your head, um,
Yeah.
you have to probably, more than likely, it's between ages 3 to 15.
3 to 15.
Yes, because that's when our brain is developing. And when that happens, we want to understand, and it's called travel back to those childhood emotions.
All right.
Okay. Yet until you can have a lot of emotions. You can go on that emotion ladder, which is angry, depression, sadness, and about the middle of the emotional brain, you start feeling grateful. You feel happy. You feel healthy. You feel love. And then you feel joy.
Mm-hmm.
But when we don't have self compassion for us and get to above that middle, a lot of times, from what researchers have said, you can't solve that. So it might take a good while. But for me, when I was going through this, I had not trauma so much, but I hid my emotions, that I became numb because I didn't know what my emotions were. I was a people pleaser. So um, I had all of my emotions, whether it was positive or negative, in a numb situation. And my trainer said, "Do you have any self compassion yet for those situations?" And I said, "No, I have anger and sadness." And she said,
Yes.
because those are deep emotions. And she says, "Well, we can't really go travel pack and see a positive reaction. It's important that we say we are at self compassion, and then we can open the doors to help you stop eating." Does that make sense?
Yep. So I'm taking down notes. So you say when you still feeling angry and sad, it's difficult to go back or to travel back to where those emotions came from based on your memory.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, Not until we have self compassion.
Correct. That's
All
pretty
right.
much in a nutshell.
All right.
And you may have some anger, so we could work through the anger. You may have some sadness, and we can work through that. But to get down to that deep self compassion, that it's not your fault, you love yourself. But and
Yeah.
if you've had in this cycle for so long, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years,
Yeah.
it's going to take a while, and therapy can help. I'm not a psychotherapist by any means, but yet researchers about 40 years ago started the EBT. It's evolved, and one of the major researchers is Laurel Mellon, who's a PhD, and she's also a dietitian, and she realizes that dietitians need to be certified because we're known to help with weight loss, you know,
Right.
but we know through 40 billions, 3 millions of dollars are being spent almost every year on some type of weight loss product. So we know we haven't got the right key to the door.
Yeah. Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah. Lucky I don't have the weight problem when I'm stressed eating.
Okay. So, and it might be in a brain fog, or it might be in productivity, or it might be in sadness. Because
Sadness, anger, yes.
yes, yes,
Sadness,
yes,
yes.
yes. So that's where the why comes from. And same with me. Nobody knew that I was an emotional eater because I knew as a dietitian who would want to work with me, number one. So I hid that.
Right.
And
Correct.
number two, I can control it to a way where I binged eating unhealthy foods.
Uh-huh.
So and then I go, oh, I don't care, I'm going to go to McDonald's and have a big meal and a shake. I feel terrible and no one's going to know because I'm going to eat it before I go home. I don't know if that ever happened to you, but I hurried up and folded all the trash and put it in the
It
trash can.
did. It did.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
my husband tends to my husband is the one who cooks at home
Okay,
because he's very strict with eating good food,
good.
healthy food because of what happened to me in
Okay,
2015.
perfect.
Now, since I'm going to office, I tend to go a small trip at the convenience store and buy some chips. I
Yes,
eat it fast while I walk to going home, and
yeah,
then when I reach home, I'm done with my chips.
right, right. And, that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that, and you give yourself some self-compassion for sure for that. But yet, when it comes to be almost every night, the toxic stuff in the
Yeah,
chips take over the non-toxic things, the
yeah,
healthy things that you're
yes,
eating.
that
But
is true.
yeah,
That is true.
yes. So,
Took me like 1 year, 2 years to carve that down
oh, good.
until now. No more since 2018. No more
Okay.
chips at home. No more chips outside.
Oh, right. Well, that's great. That's great. That's super. I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah, it's a mortal sin to have chips at home.
Well, okay.
it's it's gonna be a fight.
Oh gosh. Okay. Well,
Yeah.
you've got your dukes up, ready for the fight.
Yes, that is so true. All right, we are moving on. Okay, now it's getting more and more interesting. So listen, everyone, as this is very important for us business owners to identify why we can't stop eating the not so nice food. I'm sure a lot here will agree that sometimes when we are so focused with work, we can finish a bag of chips in half an hour. Sounds crazy, but it happens. Happens to me.
Yes.
So, all right, pay attention, everyone. Okay, so Coach Dayan first.
Uh-huh.
Educate us, your audience, on what happens to us business owners if we keep on doing this, eating junk food while we toil away with our business.
Okay. As you know, when we binge, it is more likely to be high fat and high calorie foods that are very
Yeah.
quick. So, continuing to do that, you are putting food into your digestion and it's really not benefiting you at all. So, by that, and then you have some stress going on, of course. We
Mm-hmm.
can't survive any day without stress, unfortunately, but we learn to manage it and we can
Yep.
control it through many different ways, depending on what works for you. And it will eventually take a toll on your physical and your mental health. And of course, it can be diabetes, it can be heart disease, it can be, of course, the weight gain. And
Mm-hmm.
then when you have the weight gain, you might have back problems, you might have knee problems, you won't be able to go out and walk. And with that, those are long term health consequences. And if you're a mom, a single mom that still has children, you're setting yourself up for experiences that you may not be 100% there for your family, your significant other, at your work, if you work outside the home. So that's where the consequences are. And we have so many on bariatric surgery. We
Mm-hmm.
have so many younger teens now in suicide. They cannot
Wow.
handle their emotions. So that's the main reason for me. That's my passion. I do not want anyone to end up in the hospital and them going back and say, oh, I should have eaten better. I should have got better sleep. I should have been more kinder to myself. Those are fixable things health wise that you can automatically control short
Yeah,
term, mid-term, and long term.
I can definitely relate because it's the same dialogue I had in 2015 when they took off my gallbladder, which was
Yes.
already gangrene.
Oh,
Yeah, I have like 5 stones in there,
ouch. Oh my
small,
gosh.
medium, large, you name it.
Okay. Yes. And they can be
I'm
painful.
laughing now, but it's really, really painful that night.
Yeah. Were they painful for you?
Yes, yes, it is. So it's from here, and then on the right side here, it answered here, and then here at the
Back.
bottom of my ribs. So
Yes.
I was like, I
Exactly.
cannot really walk. I cannot stand anymore. So like that.
Yeah. And how many times have you gone to bed and not being able to sleep or waking up with severe pain? You know?
Um, like I don't know about 5 times. So I misdiagnosed myself. So I thought
Oh,
it was just gastric
oh,
because
God.
I'm bloating. I'm bloating,
Sure.
right? So I thought it was just gastric, and then I have home remedies like the ginger ale, that kind of ginger tea, so that
Hmm.
the gas will come out. I
Sure.
burp it out and all that. But then one night it was so very painful and I'm having a fever. And then I said to my husband, I cannot sleep. It's so painful and I cannot stand. Like, I really cannot stand. I can walk, but yeah. So, so I asked him, this is different. I say, this is different already. We have to go to the emergency.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's that.
Yeah. And sometimes we do so much DIY regarding our health and our self care because we're givers instead of receivers. And we
True.
give for everyone else. And, oh, this will go away. Or I can't be bothered with this. It's because something, something, something.
True.
Well, pay attention of those something, something, somethings because it can set you up for chronic health or
Yeah.
an immediate health situation.
Yeah. It almost got me. I was like, the doctor says if I did not go in
Yes.
at that time and then I waited for another day, you won't be talking to me right now. It was that serious.
Oh my,
That's
I'm
what the
so
doctor had
sorry.
said.
Yes.
Because
Wow.
when they opened it up, it was inflamed and it was gangrene.
Oh gosh. Yeah, that's so hard. I'm so sorry, but I'm so glad that you did that and you're feeling better and you know how important putting healthy foods. It's your
Yes.
choice now.
Yes, it is. And the detox is very painful now. I mean, you have to remove all those food from your body. I
Yeah,
mean, the journey to that is, um, for me, it's painful. It's struggling. I'm struggling, really struggling. But the outcome is like you're in heaven. You're very light and you're very, you can think very fast. You can
right.
think better. You perform better rather than last time when I'm
Absolutely.
doing that.
And sometimes we don't know until the after.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're in the moment. And then when you cross that and want to really go seek some medical health, it's hard to believe that you feel so much better, or you sleep better, or your mood is better. There's
Yeah.
so many outside behaviors that are very positive.
Yeah. That is very true. Just so glad that, I was able to, get over it, and then I'm still alive right now.
Yes,
So
thank goodness.
anyone who is watching this one, please take care of yourself.
Right, right. Absolutely. Don't take the DIY to something tragic.
Yeah. If it's really, really painful, go to the doctor. Have
Yes,
yourself checked.
that's right.
Yeah. So, moving back, could you tell us more about the three S's to manage our stress eating?
Very good. So, we talked about the stress. That's first, number one,
Mm-hmm.
S. Number two, we briefly talked about that. And so I'll go into it a little bit more detail now. It's self compassion.
Mm-hmm.
And the third S is sleep.
Okay.
Okay.
Yep.
So let's start with self compassion.
All right.
We briefly talked about it on the travel back discussion.
Yes.
Yes, and that's so important. We really don't realize it, and so many doctors don't really realize it. Yet, when we don't have that self compassion to give yourself a hug or say how thankful and grateful you are before
Mm-hmm.
you go to bed and when you wake up. And there's a secret to that. Hopefully, we'll have enough time to talk about that. But um, so, self compassion, as you know, is being kind to yourself
Mm-hmm.
and kind to others. Because when you're kind to yourself and you have more compassion for others, it becomes a boomerang effect. And if it's not, and you realize that this isn't working for me, it's time to step away.
All right.
Um, and that's where probably some other counselors can help you. And self compassion flipped are the words, and let me know if this kind of runs into your head, because these words ran into my head a lot.
Okay.
Should, could, would,
Yes.
it's my fault, don't talk to me, leave me alone,
Yeah. Yeah.
and you're angry. And then leave me alone becomes from leave me alone to leave me alone. That way anger, that drawer number 5 gets to you.
Yeah.
So that's where you realize that it's time to have more self compassion, because somewhere in those wires, either you heard it from your sisters, your siblings,
Mm-hmm.
um, and for example, mommy, I should have done that, but I didn't have time, or she made me do it. Those shoulda, coulda, wouldas. And then when you're an adult, maybe in a work situation, you come out with, oh, I could have done a better presentation,
Mm-hmm.
or I could have talked to my boss about this before he fired me. So all of those words, and we have to retrain our words to be more loving. And that's where that middle of the emotional ladder, we want to raise it up to here.
Mm-hmm.
And it takes some training. It takes affirmations. I use affirmations. I also use meditation. And if you do have the stress eating or the emotional eating, that's where we get back into from drawer 3 to drawer 5. So when you get those taken care of, and you're going to 2 and 1, the resilience and joy, we have self-compassion. We're kinder to ourselves. We feel we have purpose,
Mm-hmm.
and that self-trust and that self-compassion comes through very easily without regretting what you've said before. Does that make sense?
So it's like forgive yourself for what you have done.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's a great word. I didn't mention that, but that is a great word. And ask yourself for forgiveness.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's the best. If you forgive yourself, doesn't matter if the other person don't forgive you. As
Mm-hmm.
long as you forgive yourself and you accept that you did wrong, and then you move forward and do better, right? I think that will be uh, a sign of having self-compassion to yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Means
Mm-hmm.
being kind to yourself.
Mm-hmm. And when you can
Right.
do that
Mhm.
self-compassion, you can start untangling those wires that maybe you're fine for a month or two, and then all of a sudden something triggers
Yeah,
a situation.
definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely
And
something will trigger.
you're going back into that third, fourth, and fifth drawer. So, yes,
Yeah.
self-compassion.
That's why there's no chips at home.
Yes. Or eating that whole large pizza by yourself watching a Netflix.
Yes.
And you do it in 30 minutes or less. You know that commercial, we'll deliver in 30 minutes or less. Well, what about eating 30 minutes or less? That whole
It's
large
like
pizza by yourself.
this large pizza will disappear in 30 minutes.
Yes, yes. And then I'll go in the trash and I'll hide my pizza box and I'll spray Febreze because I don't want anybody to smell the garlic or,
Yeah, yeah.
the pizza. So, yes, we all have those tricks.
The things we do, right?
Yes, the things we do. That's for
All
sure.
right. Yeah, so what you've shared with us right now is very helpful and very
Thank you.
timely. Let me just do the banner so that people will, those who will watch it on replay, they would know what to do. Okay, good. Oh, cannot be read. Okay, too many. So it says to comment #stress to get a free guide um, on how to stop cravings, 7 secrets revealed to control your weight. Okay, don't
Mhm.
forget, comment #stress. All right, now moving on. So it will actually help us to think more about our health and hopefully act on what we need to be putting in our mouths. Okay. So again, this is episode 29 of Talking Business with Ritz. Remember to watch the replay either on my profile, on my business page, or from the free video vault. Okay. The replay is always pinned at the top of my profile post for a week. Now, if you don't have access to the free video vault yet, comment #video vault in the comment, and I can give you the access. Or you can find the link in the about section of my Facebook personal profile. All right. So for those catching up on replay, don't forget to comment #replay. Engagement, engagement. All right. Let's share this and so that we can help a lot more people. So pay attention, ladies and gents, as we are now almost at the end of this episode. Okay, so now we know how to recognize the sign that we might be a stress eater. That is when we just grab something without actually thinking and finishing it in a small amount of time. So that's mindless eating. And if you're doing it like 3 to 4 times a week, that is when we need to seek professional help.
I would
Is that
suggest.
right? All right.
Yes, yes.
Okay, next we also had an idea of how we can recognize why we turn towards food when we are stressed. So I have here is like when your brain is tangled up like a Christmas light, okay? It can cause addiction in food or alcohol. So this is like there was a mention of the five drawers in the brain
Yes.
and the five, four, and three are the ones that are very important to that stores bad memories and causes what is this? Stress comes that when you have a bad memory and then you add and then stress adds emotion into it. That's when we go to or we turn to food to make us happy.
Right, right. And
Right.
we did talk briefly. I do want to talk about the sleep, the third S. But
All
like
right.
I
Yeah.
said,
Go
emotional
ahead.
eating, first, the emotional eating can be beneficial in some areas. So,
Mm-hmm.
and that is taking back to some good memories. For example, if you
Mm-hmm.
had a birthday party
Mm-hmm.
and you had a birthday cake and you had ice cream and you had your friends or your family and people are singing happy birthday. That is a good memory, hopefully.
Yep.
And so that goes into your brain. And then good other memories, like your mother is taking you to the ice cream store because you got good grades,
Yep.
you know, or food becomes that solution for good memories,
Oh.
and that can add up, add up, add up. And for certain cultures, food is the center of your love and traditions. The Italians, being Jewish, probably Indian, other Germans, when you have people, you can't not have food if somebody comes to the house, you know,
Ah,
please
yes.
eat this, please eat this, enjoy, enjoy.
Mm.
And they really take it personal if you don't. So those are some good memories. Yet when that's the only memory that you have to want to feel good,
Mm-hmm.
that's when the eating or the overeating becomes a center of your happiness.
Okay.
Okay, so that's kind of the flip side. And then to turn it over, when you reach for food to comfort yourself, and more than 3 or 4 times a week that you're having that gallon of ice cream or that whole pizza or that big meal, that's when it becomes a problem and needs to be addressed. Okay.
Right. Correct.
Yes. Yes. Okay. So let's move on. Do we have some time to move on to sleep?
Yes, we still have some time. Yes. Go ahead. Go
Okay,
ahead.
perfect. Okay. So sleep is very important because scientifically and emotionally, because emotionally, it rests your brain, it rests your body, it gets you rebooted.
Mm-hmm.
And also, you can find that sleep is probably the best stress solution, but it's kind of like an oxymoron. I have
Yeah.
stress, I can't sleep, but I need to sleep to decrease my
The
stress.
stress. Yeah.
Yes. And so it becomes
Yes.
that. And then when you can't sleep, you might feel like you're hungry. So where do you go when you're hungry in the middle of the night? Right, right, right. And some of my clients
I
said,
eat.
I baked a dozen brownies and nobody ate. And nobody knew because I ate the dozen brownies before I went back to bed. So what I'm saying is that we really have to tackle the sleep as well. and there's an area in your brain. It's a wire, and some
Mm-hmm.
people call it a circuit. Some people call it a neurotransmitter. Um, it's well, the acronym is BDNF.
BDNF.
It's a long scientific word. I don't really know it, but it's BDNF. And when that becomes activated,
Mm-hmm.
you have better sleep and you can have less stress, and less stress activates the BDNF. Another way to activate your your BDNF, exercise.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so when we do that, that sets up your long term memory. That's where, when you sleep, that's it can be activated, but when you're not sleeping or more stressed, then the BDNF stays asleep. Basically, it's not activated, or it's activated, but other things are going on in their brain that are taking over, and so you don't really feel or see the benefits of this BDNF. But you can build the BDNF. You can build a lot of neurotransmitters that are healthy for your body just by taking in the right foods. So when you're sleeping, the average is 7.5 to 8 hours of sleep a night, restful sleep. And I don't know if you remember, but back maybe 10 years ago when we were supposed to multitask, and if you weren't successful if you didn't multitask, you
Well,
know.
we are still multitasking.
We try.
We
I know
try,
with
yes.
me, I can't do it. I can only concentrate on one thing. In my
Yeah.
brain, it's saying, oh, what about this? What about this? So I have to focus and say, no, I'm going to do this one thing. So when you're multitasking, your body, your brain, your heart are all in motion.
Mm-hmm.
And then and if you do it right before you go to bed, or you come home relaxed, but then you're eating the junk food, that BDNF needs to come out while you're sleeping. And when it doesn't, it slows down your long term memory. It can make you less productive, and it affects a negative emotion in your body.
Oh, okay. So, backtrack a little
Yes,
for the. You said that the exercise activates BDNF,
correct.
right? So, how many hours do you advise to have to do exercise, like 4 hours or before sleep?
That depends. Really, what I've read is 30 minutes a day will help give you positive exercise benefits.
So that is when you wake up in the morning.
Well, you could wake up in the morning. Some people do it in the afternoon, or some people at night. It kind of depends on what your body is producing. Not to say that you can't exercise at night. For
Mm-hmm.
me, I exercise in the morning, and I've always
Yeah.
done that because my kids are up, and they went to school, so I exercised in the morning. And some clients I know have to exercise at night after the children go to bed. And so they go to the gym, or, with somebody watching the kids for sure. But um, there's no rhyme or reason. It's just for women, the type of exercise does help.
Mm-hmm.
And 30 minutes a day.
So
And
what type of exercise do you recommend?
well, we always need that aerobic exercise, which gets the heart up and gets, the blood flowing. And
Mm-hmm.
then for women, we want to do something that's weight bearing.
Weight bearing.
And those are, um, you know, weights.
Yep.
It could be single weights like this, or your routine. There's so many programs on the internet if you can't go
Mm-hmm.
to the gym.
Yep.
And then, or you could do the machines, you know. So this is the free weights, or you have this the standing or sitting or the machines.
All right.
And what that helps is to retain muscle mass and
Mm-hmm.
also prevents osteopenia and osteoporosis that makes the bones more dense. So,
Oh no, I should start doing weights.
right. And I used to work with the seniors so long. We just did, you know, like this. And
Yeah.
when I was home, tomato juice can, something either from your pantry, you know,
Yep.
if you can't afford the free weights, or you have the free weights, and then you project. So that's what I recommend for women, and
Right.
because that's who I specialize in.
Right. Okay. Thank you for that information.
Okay, you're welcome.
Yes. So 7 to 8 hours of deep sleep.
Good sleep,
Is it
yes.
good sleep? Okay. How many hours should we be like for me during weekdays? I finish work at 10 p.m. my time,
Hmm.
right? So sometimes I can't be bothered eating at 7 p.m. So I finish work first before I eat my dinner. So it's kind of late. And then I'm going to sleep about 12, 1, 2. Is that affecting my sleep? I mean, the interval of the
Okay,
time that I ate?
so what you're saying is that you eat your dinner at 7.
No, I eat it at 10,
Oh,
after 10, about
okay.
10:30.
Okay. And then do you wake up at 1 or 2 in the morning to start your day?
No, that is the time when I tend to fall asleep.
Okay. Okay. So this probably needs a consultation, my dear.
Is it?
Yes.
So
Yeah.
it's my normal body clock.
Okay.
Okay.
So this might be something we do off camera for a little bit.
Yeah, so this
Um,
is not normal.
well, I'm not
Okay.
saying it's not normal. I'll tell you the reasons why, and then you can decide whether this will work, make some changes, or just go with the flow like I always have. So,
All right, all right,
okay.
all right, gotcha. So we've talked about stress, the three S's: stress, self-compassion, and then sleep. All right. Do you want to add more?
Oh, I could add a lot more, but I
All
see
right,
you
so
time. But
yeah,
I
yeah, for
just
the
wanted to share my gift for everyone, if I could.
yeah.
Okay, so this is my free guide. I'm trying to get it. Okay, how to stop cravings, 7 secrets revealed to control your weight, have more energy, and love your body. And it's a free guide. It's close to, I think, 13 pages, but I have a lot of pictures, so I'm not going to have you like have to read it, for an hour or not. It's quick tips. And these are 7 tips to help you, some other ideas to cope with your cravings. Okay.
Nice. All right. So do you have a digital copy of this one?
Yes, I do.
All right. All
I
right.
sure do. Um, and all they need to do, should I share where they can receive it, or?
Yes, please.
Okay. So all they need to do in the comments is to put the word cravings.
Oh, cravings. So
Okay. So that's
let's
easy to do.
edit that. Okay. Let's edit our banner instead of stress. We put cravings with S.
It can be either one,
All right.
cravings, because usually you have more than one.
All
Or you can
right.
put stress, whichever is easier to remember.
Okay.
Okay. And then I'll be sure to get in touch with you. Probably if you're on Facebook or something, it'll probably be through a private message so we can
All
get
right.
your contact information. I can also
There we
be
go.
reached. My website is
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
www.dianebmorris.com.
Mm-hmm. One word.
Yes, one
Diane
word.
B. Morris.
.com.
Okay.
Yes.
There we go.
Perfect. Okay. And I have an Instagram account. I have a Facebook account. So many ways that you can reach me.
All right. All right. So, wow, I sure learned a lot today. I hope you've learned a lot too and be inspired to eat healthy and take care of your body. So, it is very difficult to take care of business if we, business owners, are not in tip top shape. Okay, so for those who came in late, please watch the replay. This is a very interesting episode. Again, it is Coach Diane's goal to reach out to 1 million women to help them heal their stress eating cycles using a non-diet approach and still control their weight and love the food that they enjoy eating. All right, so Coach Diane, uh, do you have anything else going on right now? Could you tell us more about it?
I just made a video on my Facebook page on Thursday,
Mm-hmm.
and it's right up on there, and it talks about stress eating and the three areas, the three tips. One was track your emotions in food, be mindful of what you're eating, stay away from the mindless munchies,
Mm-hmm.
and also choose the apple.
All right, the apple, yes, no contest.
Okay.
All right, so you mentioned where we can reach you, or if they want to work with you. All right. So again, thank you very much, Coach Diane, for being so generous and sharing your time and expertise with us. Do you have any personal message that you want to share with our audience?
Yes, is to be your best self.
Nice, sweet, short and sweet. All right, ladies and gentlemen, Coach Diane B. Morris.
Thank you,
Very,
everyone.
all right.
Bye-bye.
All right. Stay tuned next week for another episode of Talking Business with Ritz, where we share value bombs to help you get a small win or move your needle for your business even just a little bit. We will be interviewing experts to share their expertise with us, just like what we did now, and we will be giving tips and tricks about content creation, social media management, and automation. We will be sharing and trying out tools that can be done by non-techie, which will help you save time. We will be sharing insights on being a frugal mom without the scarcity mindset, for which I am teaching myself as well, and many more. So, all right. Thank you very much for watching. See you next week for another episode of Talking Business with Ritz. This is Ritzel Loreto Rectra and Coach Diane B. Morris. Stay safe and healthy. See you all next time.
Bye-bye.
Bye bye.